just in case you weren't sure. And I'm going to connect to Facebook.
And Wing, all I can see is my presentation, so I guess just give me some verbal cues when you want me to start.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
So I will do a little housekeeping. I see attendees are coming in already. Welcome attendees. We'll get started soon. Leah, I'll do some housekeeping. I have just the shortest little blurb about the Fix Affair, and then I'll introduce you. And then we can
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, we're live on Facebook as well. I think I'll start with a little housekeeping. Welcome everyone. I'm so glad you could join us. For workshop attendees in the Zoom session, you can hover over your screen and you'll see both the chat and the Q&A button. And that's how we'll be responding to questions and comments today. So type in whatever you have questions about and we'll make sure it gets answered. You'll also see some captions at the bottom that's auto captioning. If you do want to turn that off, you should have a CC button down at the bottom as well, and you can switch those off. We're also broadcasting live on Facebook. I see some folks watching us already. If you're watching on Facebook, you can in fact leave a comment and we'll see it and make sure that any questions are answered as well. And with that, I'm going to give it just another second, Leah, to let folks join us in the session. All right, well, it's 5 after. I think let's get started. I want to welcome everybody to this workshop. It's a part of the Fix Affair at home. We're bringing you our usual Fix Affairs would be in person, but we are bringing you this online experience during the pandemic. My name is Wing. I'm one of the Fix Affair coordinators, and we are with the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability at the City of Portland, Oregon. With that, I would like to introduce Leah with the city's Treebate program. Leah, thank you so much for joining us today. Please take it away.
All right, well, thank you so much. So thank you all for joining us today. So my name is Leah. I'm an ISA certified arborist with the Environmental Services Tree Program. And if you submit an application to Treebate, it's probably going to go through me. So Treebate is small but good, and I hope I can help you take advantage of it. My goal today is to help you answer 3 questions. What is Treebate, if you've never heard of it before? Is my tree Treebate eligible? And how do I get my Treebate if it is? So first off, what is Treebate? Quick overview, it's a one-time credit for planting a new tree at your single-family residential home. So like a rebate, but a Treebate. The credit posts directly to the sewer, stormwater, water utility account for the property where the tree is planted, and the size of the credit depends on the mature size of the tree you plant. And that's because the goal of Treebate is to tie trees directly to stormwater management. What do we mean by stormwater management? So I work for the Bureau of Environmental Services, and we're responsible for watershed health and making sure that the water that goes back into the river is as clean as possible. We're the other half of the Water Bureau, the water in, water out. You may have heard the term watershed before. Essentially, when it rains, the water has to go somewhere. And in a less urbanized landscape, a lot of that water would actually soak into the ground. But in the city, a lot of the water just runs off. And as it runs off, it goes over roofs and sidewalks and streets, and it can pick up a lot of pollutants along the way. So depending on where you are in the city, a runoff can either go directly into the river, it can get mixed in with sewage in the combined system, or it gets infiltrated into underground sumps. And so really simply, we mean, when we say stormwater management, we mean that trees help reduce the amount of water from the rain that we have to capture, transfer, and treat with engineered treatment systems. We're letting nature and you help us. So we have a get your Treebate into 1, 2, 3. The first part is picking the right tree. There's 2 parts to this. Picking the right tree for you, and then picking a tree that's eligible for Treebate. So first up, the right tree for you. We want you to think about what kind of tree will do well in your yard. How much space do you have? What's your yard like? Is it sunny? Is it shady? Is the soil dry? Maybe you get a really strong wind coming through pretty regularly. These are questions to ask yourself when choosing a tree to help you choose a plant that's going to thrive in your yard. And also, what do you want from a tree? Do you want the tree to shade the house in the summer? Do you want it to block wind in the winter? Are you participating in something like backyard habitat and you want to have a native tree? And then, just what kind of tree do you like? Needles and cones? Do you want spring flowers? All these considerations help you choose just the right tree for you. But then we have choosing a tree that's eligible for Treebate. Treebate's pretty open. Hundreds of species and cultivars are technically eligible for Treebate. Eligibility has more to do with like size and timing and space. I did want to note though that species that are on the nuisance list or invasive are not eligible for Treebate. So that's the one big species restriction. I'm just gonna hit play on a quick video here that talks a little bit about a recently eligible Treebate tree. This is an Oregon white oak. Someday this is going to be a big, beautiful tree full of acorns and squirrels, but for right now, it's a great example for Treebate. So for Treebate, we're looking for a woody plant that's got a single main stem and secondary branches supported clear of the ground. And it matures to a height of at least 15 feet and a canopy of at least 10 feet. These rules are to help us separate trees from shrubs. All right. So real basic, it has to be a tree. And because it's a city program, we have to put some rules around what a tree is. So once you've decided the right tree for you, the next step in Treebate is to purchase and plant your tree. And please, another reminder, save your receipt, because I hate, it's just awful when I have to turn people down because they don't have their receipt anymore. I can't accept a credit card statement because it's not itemized proof of purchase. So save your receipt. The other thing is that we only accept Treebates from September 1st to April 30th. And that's because it's the best time to plant a tree. Trees planted in that window are more likely to survive and thrive. So if you're not ready to plant a tree right now, do your research over the summer and save it for next autumn, and then you can get your Treebate done. Since I have your attention for a little bit, we're going to talk really quick about how to plant a tree, because this is the best way to get your tree started right is to put it in the ground well from the get-go. While we're out here, let's talk a little bit about planting. So first thing, when you get home, you're going to want to dig a hole only as deep as the top root of the tree. So dig down in the soil and look for that top good firm root. That's going to be where you plant the tree even with the soil or even just slightly above. The tree might sink a little after you plant it, and it's really important that the tree not be planted too deeply. After you've planted the tree, you can use any extra sod, soil to build a berm around the trunk. This is going to help hold water while the tree is young, and you water it in the summer. And then you can cover that over with mulch. Mulch should be just where the roots are, not piled up against the trunk. Mulch is going to help retain the water that you put on the tree and help to suppress weeds. Finally, stakes are totally optional, really. Your tree doesn't need stakes to stand up. The stakes are there to protect the tree from soccer balls and lawnmowers, or to help catch the tree if a big wind storm, something like that, comes in. You want to make sure that your ties are loose around the trunk of the tree so it can grow in response to its environment, and that the stakes are in firm ground outside of your freshly dug hole. Finally, you'll want to make sure to take this tie off after a couple of years before it does any damage to the tree. Now, it's really important for the first few summers that you water your tree. For a tree this size, a great place to start is just a bucket like this, 3 to 5 gallons. Check the soil before you water again to see how much it's dry. We don't want the tree to be too wet or too dry, and you'll get a feel for that in your own yard after a few weeks. Oops, there we go. All right. Our brochure and our website have a little more tree care if you're new to tree care. Just a reminder to water in the summer. This 10-gallon rule is for big trees, but you can start, if you have a really small tree, you can start smaller than that. The mulch is really important for maintaining that moist soil layer right around the tree roots, help keep things from drying out really fast. Protect the bark, don't get too close to your tree with a string trimmer, and then learn how to properly prune. You can search 1, 2, 3 pruning, or if you don't trust yourself to do the pruning, you can contact a certified arborist to get help getting professional pruning done. All right, so just some notes on tree care there. Finally, the last part is to actually go apply for your Treebate. All this is as easy as snapping a photo and just filling out a little information online. This is the website. You can take a quick screenshot of this if you want, or I'll leave it up again at the end, and we'll go over to the website just after this presentation. And then the question that's probably on your mind is, how much am I going to get for my tree? Treebate credits 50% of the purchase price up to a maximum based on that size category that we talked about at the beginning. And the most important thing here to point out is that this mature height and width, this is really the part that determines your credit. A tree, I get a lot of questions about the height part. And once a tree hits 50 feet, it's easy for the tree to hit, there are a lot of trees that hit 50 feet, sorry, is what I'm trying to say, but they don't necessarily get wide enough to meet this height by width category minimum. And again, because this is about stormwater management, there's this calculation we're using to just group things by area of ground they're covering. So $50 for these big trees, $30 for more medium tree, $20 for small trees, and then $10 for fruit trees. The reason fruit trees are less is because good management for a fruit tree is to keep it small. And then also, we're not going to try to figure out if your fruit tree is planted on dwarf or semi-dwarf, whatever type of rootstock, but it's just a smaller credit because of that management practice. Also a note that it has to be a tree, so I can't give you a Treebate credit for like raspberries. And it has to be planted in the ground, so I can't give credits for things like lemon trees that'll have to be brought into the greenhouse in the winter. So a summary, eligibility summary for Treebate. You have to be because it goes on your utility bill, you have to be a utility customer to get a Treebate. We only accept Treebate September 1st through the following April 30th, which we think of broadly as the planting season. At the time of planting, your tree needs to be 4 feet tall, and your tree needs to be a species that will get to be at least 15 feet tall and 10 feet wide. It's planted in the ground with enough space to reach its full mature size. It's at a single family residence. You own the property or you received permission prior to planting. And then you're not required to plant the tree by, say, you violated the tree code or something like that, and you have to plant a tree, we can't give you a tree bait for that. And then your tree isn't invasive. So I hope, and no, it seems like kind of a long list. I hope all those rules make sense, and I'm happy to answer any questions about them. Maybe some of you are thinking, this is great, it sounds flexible, I'm in. And some of you might be thinking like, I don't know if this is quite right for me. How else can I get a tree planted? You are in luck. There are a lot of planting programs at the city, lots of ways to get a tree planted. I encourage you to check out this website and learn all about the many ways to get trees planted. But just a note that if you do get a tree planted through another city program, it doesn't count for Treebate because that would be double dipping. If we've already paid through the Treebate, if we've already paid for the tree, then we don't issue an additional Treebate for it. And then finally, a couple of really common questions I get about other financial assistance. So Clean River Rewards is, remember, Treebate was a one-time credit. Clean River Rewards is an ongoing credit for managing stormwater on your property. And you can, so if you, one thing I get a lot is like, I already have too many trees. If you have a lot of mature trees on your property already, you look into Clean River Rewards. If you've disconnected your downspouts, if you have dry wells, look into Clean River Rewards. And then Treebate is, again, it's a small reward for being a steward, a watershed steward. But if you are in need of financial assistance because of hardship, we encourage you to look into our financial assistance programs. We have bill discounts, crisis voucher, and water leak repair assistance programs, which are available to you, and we want people who need them to take advantage of them. All right, so my contact info, take a screenshot of that if you need it, and I'll put it up at the end. So I'm gonna back out of this presentation and show you the website. So here's the Treebate website. When you're ready to get your Treebate, you'll just navigate to here. And this is just, this is that same website. It's just this city. The way our website is set up, this changes it to a number, but if you put in, portlandoregon.gov/BES Treebate, takes you right here, right to the same spot. Okay. So here we have a program eligibility and program details page if you need a refresher. We have a frequently asked questions, which if we don't get to your question today or you think of something later, check this out. And then finally, the online request form. So to submit your Treebate, all you do, here's a reminder of that eligibility rundown. Put in your utility account number, name and address, some information about your tree, like how tall it is and where you planted it. Attach that image of your receipt. Check the box that says you promise to take care of your tree and that I can verify your application if necessary, and hit submit. And that's all there is to it. So with that, let's move to some questions.
Thanks, Leah. I love the promise to take care of the tree. That's the last step.
The value of a tree grows with time. So if you want your tree to shade your house, it's only going to be able to shade your house if it gets to be as big and full as it can. And same for stormwater management. It can't manage stormwater unless it gets to be a big mature tree.
So we do have a couple of questions. The first one is, does this rebate program apply to condo associations or just to individual residencies?
It counts for, so Treebate is one of many tree planting programs, and it only applies to single family and duplex, where the property owner, the person paying the water bill, is more likely to live on site. We have other tree planting programs for like condo associations, multifamily residential, that are listed on that tree website, the tree planting programs website in particular. Our Bureau of Environmental Services plants at multifamily residential, and we'd love to talk to you if you have property where you want trees planted.
Great, thank you. And the next question is the parking strip considered part of the yard?
No, yeah, great question. Thanks for asking. So we also have other programs for street tree planting, especially if you plant through Friends of Trees is a great way to get a street tree planted. Treebate doesn't count for street trees, and the reason is you need a permit to plant a street tree. A city inspector has to come out and make sure you're not planting right over the sewer line, right over the water line, over communication lines, blocking a speed sign. There's just a lot going on in the right of way. And there's a whole process for engaging in that.
Great. And that's the last question that we have. I dropped a lot of the links that you referenced in the presentation into chat and also on Facebook. So I think that'll be really valuable resources for folks as well. And since it doesn't look like we have any more questions, I think that's a wrap. Thank you so much, Leah.
Well, thanks. I hope to see some Treebate applications.
Yeah, I think you will for sure. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of the evening. Thanks, Leah. Bye-bye.